Good morning.
Good morning.
9:15. This is called to order the meeting of the Kingston Recycling Committee on Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Members present, Dean Wyatt, David O'Connell, Jean Landis Norman. We're also honored to have our Superintendent of Streets, Trees and Parks, Paul Bassler, and our MAC, Todd Kelly. We also have a visitor from Plymouth, Everett, Good. Welcome, Everett. Welcome, everybody.
And Vanessa.
And Vanessa, I'm sorry, Vanessa, you're online. Don't let me.
Hello,
forget-
everyone.
and don't
I
let
hope
me
you have
forget you up
sunshine.
there.
I have rain.
Yeah, you keeping dry?
Yeah, just staying indoors.
Are you back in California? Yeah.
Yeah, in San Diego.
It
Oh,
never
my
rains in
goodness.
Southern California. Not until recently. How are the floods?
Well, we got in around 10:30 last night, and it's only 6:30 in the morning, so I really haven't seen anything in the light.
Yeah, it's not looking too good there. I've never seen it rain so hard. Just looked like someone was pouring back in.
People that have sensitive properties.
So the LA River was an actual river. Usually it's just dirt. I've only seen it 4 months in my life. I lived there.
You miss it, do you?
California.
Say it again.
There are things that are good about it.
Todd says he doesn't miss California.
Oh, he
Well,
always sounds affectionate and warm about it when he talks to me.
It was okay.
It's
Expensive.
okay. All right, so this meeting is being recorded by PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Seeing none, we'll move ahead. Okay, Vanessa had notified us yesterday that she had not had an opportunity to finish the minutes for last month, so we'll put that off until next month. Okay. And Todd, if you don't mind, I'll take you out of order because I know, Todd, you have a meeting in Plymouth, and Paul, do you have a meeting today?
I do.
Okay, so why don't we let the two of you go ahead, Paul? What do you have to report today? Anything?
I did meet with those two members of the Hingham Recycling Committee.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking very strongly into the possibility of starting a organics collection at their transfer station, but apparently Randy is not on board yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they took some pictures. They asked, they were asking some good questions about how much input my employees have up there with it. I said, not much. They're pretty much self running. I told them that, Gene's been looking at trying to start a larger program in town. They were interested in that, see where that would go. And that's about it on that. They seem very eager about getting it going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hope, I told them how simple it was, and I hope they saw that once they were there.
They
That
did.
it's not a big deal.
It's
It's just getting people to bring the material. After that, there's not much to it. I do want to thank Paul and his staff for pulling the bins closer to the road. It had gotten a little mucky right in front of the bins, so now they're closer.
Yeah, now
Also has better.
better visuals. Now we have a place where he's putting the trailers off the site.
Yeah.
It's out of that way. So I know Gene's working on the what would you call that?
What, the curbside?
No,
No, the Pharrell, yeah.
the
Yeah.
hand
Yeah,
sanitizer
we're gonna
stuff.
talk about that in a little
Okay.
bit.
If you were at the transfer station this weekend, you might have noticed that my employees have started to dismantle the old swap shop.
Oh, okay,
They have moved Dave's shelves down to the fire station, I do believe.
okay, great.
And I think by Thursday afternoon, this current swap shop facility will be no.
Excellent. And thank you for saving those shelves.
Well, hopefully, like we said, we can use them elsewhere.
Yeah,
I went on the RDP website last week and kind of screwed up. And, because I don't know if I told this committee this, but I screwed up my email about 6 or 8 months ago. Let's just say they had to wipe everything clean and start with a new email address. Unfortunately, the IDP stuff, the retrack is in my old email.
Hmm.
So stupid me, I go on and, okay, it says create a new person. So that's what I was doing. And then it says, okay, put in your password. So it's been over a year since Todd and I sat down and looked at it. I forgot the password. So I put in, okay, send me a new password. Well, it sends that new password to my old email address, which I no longer have. So I had to call up our wonderful Mac here, and he tried to help me out, and that didn't work. So he put me in contact with the person from DEP, and she sent me an email, and I think last Friday I was able to get back into it. Now, next week, we got to finish, we have the IDP expense account. I want to talk to you about that.
I think I sent you that report.
Oh, I'll have to look at that again. And I did get the buy recycle policy, Gloria, out of the selectman's office.
Mhm.
Had that set up last month because I sent her an email saying we're going to need it done. So, and I sent that into the DEP's office, and I got the email back on Thursday that that's been accepted. So we're getting it.
Yeah. What's the due date?
15th.
Okay, so that's,
Next
that
week.
is next Thursday.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I get that done. I have some time this week. Try to get it done this week.
Yeah, I had sent you a summary of the expenses for this past year, so you should have
I'll look at
that.
that.
I think I sent you a summary of whatever activities we did that could qualify. So
I'll look at,
if you're missing anything, let me know.
well, yeah, you're laid up. You pretty much can't be a moving target, right?
Yeah, I go upstairs once a day to
Do you?
work on computer stuff.
And then, right now, that's all about what I have, right?
Okay, any movement on signage, the stuff we talked about?
I have not moved. It's my fault. I gotta get on it. I know I do.
Okay, well, let's get the RDP stuff.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
And then we'll work on the sign.
And then I want to get hard on the signs because,
Okay, and I believe Vanessa, you had offered to help with signage, right?
I would love to help you with that, Paul.
okay,
Okay, so I think that's under,
yeah, okay, we can do that. Are you out in California for a long period of time, or is this a short visit, or?
And I'll be back I'll be back the beginning of next week.
Okay,
I'm coming back on Sunday.
okay, so you're coming back on Super Bowl Sunday? Oh, my goodness.
Well, at like 6 in the morning.
oh, boy.
6 your time in California or 6 our time here?
Yeah, I'm doing a red eye, so I get on the
Oof.
plane here at 10 at night and I get there at 6 in the morning. Because I have to gain back 3 hours that or how do you do it? Lose 3 hours. I forget how it goes. Anyways, I have another question for Paul. Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm still in touch with CareWorks on Pottle. They get a giant food delivery the first of the month and have
Okay.
tons of, not the first of the month, the first Wednesday of the month. Then they have tons of cardboard boxes that would be great to put in our recycling, but we can't figure out how to get them there.
Yeah, Paul and I talked about this, Vanessa. You had brought it up at the last meeting. And currently, I'll let Paul explain that there is no allowance for anything other than residents with stickers.
Right now, we are set up for residential disposal only. And although it's a great thing that we get paid for cardboard, if we start letting one person, we're gonna have to let everybody in. So what Gene and I talked about was, there's gotta be somebody affiliated with that area on Portal Street that is a Kingston resident that has a sticker.
And a truck.
Yeah, obviously, if it's that big a volume, they'd have to have some way to convey it.
And my concern, Vanessa, if we allow them in, then that's gonna require me to go in front of the selectmen. We'll open it up for all the businesses in the town of Kingston. And if we let them in for cardboard, then we're gonna let them in for everything else, and I'd rather not go down that slope, because we only have one cardboard
Compact.
compactor. And, where it's residential only, if we start allowing commercial activities, that's gonna require us to start thinking about commercial fees, whether it's just for recyclables or then trash and there's something going on that I'm not at liberty to discuss that might change things in this town down the road. And I
Well,
know,
let's hope that doesn't come.
no, but there are a lot of people on the town side that,
I think it's a great idea, huh? I can't imagine.
but we really can't, this is not the forum to discuss this.
Okay, all right, Vanessa, I'm sorry, we don't have an answer right now, other than hopefully they can find someone with a sticker who can assist them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else for Paul? No?
I wanted to say one thing about Hingham. The Hingham High School is doing organics already, so you think they would have a lot of opportunity for support?
Oh, I don't, did they, when you talked to those people, Gene, did they give an indication they knew about that?
I told them when I talked,
You did?
yeah, they keep getting awards.
Cause
Yeah, I think they just want to, they want to open it up to all the residents of the town.
But the way the school's doing it, they can't handle that much volume.
Right.
They only
Yeah.
have the small backyard composters.
Ah,
And I think they have 4 or 6 of them, if I'm right. It's not that many.
I did tell them, I know Randy is professional. If they want me to speak to Randy about the ease of it, I'm more than willing to do so. And next time I see Randy, whether it's at a South Shore meeting or a Plymouth County Highway meeting, I'm gonna say something. It is easy. My guys have no input on that at all. Excuse me. So it's easier for the residents to do that.
Rather than input, say they have no responsibility.
Correct.
I think it's a great idea if you talk to Randy about that.
But like I said, my biggest concern, I said to Gene, I've said it to the two people is, we're all talking about getting larger and larger, getting more. If we continue with green earth or black earth, disposing of organics is gonna be more expensive than disposing of food.
Up front, but it doesn't take into account all your back end expenses for hauling it to CMAX.
Right.
I think all of that has to be factored.
It does.
It's not a apples to apples comparison.
No, and you have reached out to certain entities in this town about starting the possibility.
We've opened it up to everybody.
Right.
It's already open to everybody.
But I'm saying-
Put it out there.
You gave Black Earth
Mhm.
some contact information, did you, about maybe a potential site in town that could be a possible?
No, I haven't pursued that at this time. I need to do that. I just have. We've reached out to Council on Aging and said they're not ready to participate. Black Earth did ask if we would put up a poster where residents could contact them directly for curbside pickup. So that's on the, Paul took care of that. That's on the bulletin board downstairs.
Well, that's why it's Regina wanted it, so
I saw
when people come in, they can see it. Cause I don't know how many people go to the town website.
I don't know, I told Paul I had a little concern about, putting something for a commercial company on the town website, promoting it that way. I know they've allowed other commercial postings downstairs, so I felt that was probably the most appropriate method. And I did tell that to the contact at Black Earth that I felt very uncomfortable promoting a private entity. But I would certainly, be willing to put up their poster.
Right.
So,
What you
So
could
that
do
is
is
something.
you could do like a preferred vendor type thing and get some bids and then have the preferred vendor list.
if this group
Yeah,
decided that
absolutely.
that's what they wanted to pursue.
And then you could put that up on the website.
I would
Sorry.
much rather have South Shore Recycling Cooperative do that stuff as a group than individual towns backing individual companies.
Yeah, but you're not if it's a preferred vendor and you're actually going through a process bid. There are other municipalities that do that.
I'm sure they are. It's
So-
just that,
But you could have Claire do it too. I mean, that's always, the problem is when you're looking at her area, how big it is with 18 municipalities, they're gonna get 2 from Middleborough, 3 from Kingston,
right.
4 from Norwell. That does not help company
No,
at all.
no,
They're not
no.
gonna
You
do
know, and they
business.
made it clear that they would need a certain threshold to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, work for them here in Kingston. So I said, I'll put it up, you know, people call them directly to make the arrangements. I don't see that we have a role to play in that, other
No,
than to just
no.
make them aware of it.
They should be promoting that in town as
Yeah.
opposed to the town.
Tried to infer that I could do that for them, and they said,
No,
no. didn't
I would
think
say,
so."
I.
No, yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay, Mac? What you got, Todd?
I'm just busy working on trying to get everyone's stuff in. That's all I'm working on.
Okay, working on
Except for this
RDP.
guy screwing the system up. That's all right. We got it somewhat figured
The
out.
town of Kingston did not hire me for my computer skills. You know this.
You made that very clear in the email
And he
to
keeps
DEP too.
emphasizing it, you know.
I've heard the same thing for 7.5 years, Paul.
You have.
Yeah.
I need you to come in. I'll buy you wings.
Yeah.
And on another note, I don't know if anybody reads some of the stuff that Gene sends out. The links to certain articles in the newspaper,
Mhm.
but we were talking about that before you, Gene, and Vanessa came in. About pushback about the reusable shopping bags made out of heavier plastic.
Mhm.
We talked to everyone when he first got here about they had the nip ban in place in Plymouth, and now it's backed out of there.
Yep.
You know,
Well, you have to understand the industry that you're affecting. And, you have to recognize that they are probably not going to be all that happy about it. So I don't know. Obviously, they've found a way to work around that in other communities. We do have some. I thought it was most unfortunate that it did get voted down. I did speak with Dr. Stone about it. And he said that they had brought in a national group to wage a campaign, well-funded, lots of signs around town. And honestly, it was less than 8,000 people voted out of a community of what?
60.
40,000 registered voters.
40,000 registered voters. So you only had
100
8,000 who had strong feelings one way or the other.
The vote was only split by 120 votes. or
It was
something, too. It
pretty
really
close.
close.
Yeah, it was pretty close considering the fact that the other side had a national group waging a campaign for them. I know now, I don't want to speak for your group, but Dr. Stone told me that he's interested in pursuing this on a more regional line, working with Cape communities. So I'll have to see how that goes. Okay, so Todd, I know you have a meeting after this. You're meeting with
Plymouth.
to,
Hopefully resurrect the recycling committee there.
Okay.
I'm gonna push it pretty hard. So are you going?
Where are you actually meeting
Town hall?
with Derek or?
It's with the DPW director, assistant
Oh, with
director.
Coyle?
Yeah, I haven't met them yet, so, but I'm more there just to go through and, kind of back Ken on some stuff too, so
Ken's gonna be there.
Yeah. Ken will be there. I wasn't sure if you were gonna be there or not.
I didn't hear about it, till you just started talking about it now.
Everett will be there.
It's too bad the communication doesn't work better.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Ken and I had talked about you too, and how you come to these meetings every once in a while. It's ironic, 'cause I just
Yeah.
talked to him
And
Friday.
how about Peter? Is he going? Peter Neville?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll know when I get there.
You'll know,
I'm
yeah.
not sure exactly. who's going.
Okay, well, we certainly feel that we've had some impact on the community, and I would think that a recycling committee in Plymouth could have some positive impact. As we know, nothing happens quickly, and so there's often pushback, but I think we're a little better educated on how important recycling is. And if we can just convey that to more people, I think we've fulfilled a major part of our role, and it could happen in Plymouth too. So I hope it all goes well for Plymouth. Okay, and Todd, I know you're working with satchel recycling on a regional
Hazardous waste.
hazardous waste collection site. Are there any other big things coming out of DEP?
Not really.
Okay,
No, just,
okay, because,
it's fun for now.
yeah, we just had the unveiling of the new RDP
Yeah,
guidelines, so,
I
okay.
think that the training session is gonna be in May.
Okay.
May, like mid-May or early May, something like that.
Zoom,
Yeah, it'll be Zoom.
okay, good,
But you guys, you'll have me anyway, so. I was 2 years with you,
okay,
just to make sure it's right.
all right. Okay.
Are there any talks at DEP meetings about, I don't know, maybe permitting more waste energy facilities or transfer stations? You know, we all know that we're getting a lot more trash and less options to go.
It's not my side of the business, but I try and find out.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
why
so-
I'm zero.
let me just interject that, Claire from SSRC and I are meeting with Representative Lenatra on Monday to talk about House Bill 4683, which is the paint bill, as well as the, manufacturer responsibility. What they did was they took bills and smushed them all together. Claire's not exactly thrilled with the final product. But, since Kathy is on the Ways and Means Committee, Claire thought it would be pertinent to have a meeting with her. And then she suggested that I join them, so I'm going to that meeting. So not that I know a lot about the bills, I'm going to refresh myself. She sent me some material and I downloaded the bill, so we'll have some sense of what's in there. But Claire's obviously the person who's been pushing these and helping to write. So I'll report back on that.
Is Juanita coming down for that too?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's just Claire and I meeting with Rep. Lenatra.
Yeah, I'm just curious because Juanita's really, she's the one in charge of all that stuff too. So
Okay.
I know Claire kind of took a step back, but she's still heavily involved. I don't know, I was just curious.
I'll know when I get there.
It's always-
So Paul, I think you raise an interesting point because, we're looking at the housing shortage and so trying to find ways to make a lot of houses. So we're gonna have more household waste. But right now we also have a lot of political races going. It seems like it's a turnover all over in our area, except for Kathy, I hope. But it would be great to charge the conversation with the issue of so much trash and not many places to take it. Just to get people thinking about what the South Shore needs.
Well, it's been a lot of years and, since they, capped the number of incinerators and, as you know, they closed all the landfills on those. And, I've seen all the apartments built in Plymouth. There's more people there. We have apartments in Kingston now. And, there's no real viable alternatives here.
No, other than trying to reduce the amount of
Right.
trash.
My
Which is
concern
education, household education and manufacturer education.
Yeah.
But until
Well,
that,
that's what
sorry,
that's
until
what
that
this-
kicks in, we're still gonna have all of that waste that has to go somewhere. So to get people
Right.
thinking about the fact that these are becoming either obsolete or monopolies or whatever, and what options will be created other than busing it to, I don't know, Idaho or something.
Well, my concern is when we renegotiated the CMAS contract a couple of years back, it's no longer than a couple of years back,
Mhm.
there were two or three places to go. Now there's only one. Because it's only CMAS as far as I know, because one is off the books. So we are going to be negotiating a new contract for trash. Probably should be starting in the next 3 years.
Mm.
If CMAS is gonna be in the monopoly, those days of trash under $120, probably gonna be for the win.
Yeah, so really, again, it's up to us to do what we can to help educate people about recycling and reuse, reducing the amount of things that they're they're purchasing that need to be trashed or recycled. And I really see organics as a big part of that, and I'm hoping that over time we can get more people to participate in our organics collection. It's now open to anyone who has a sticker, whether it's a pool sticker or a recycling only sticker. So maybe we can do a new campaign on that in the next couple of months to remind people of the availability.
So I really want to make a plug. I appreciate moving the organic bins so that we're on the hard top to dump it, especially as it's been so wet and mucky. But it's just really nice to have them like flush with, you drive up and you just stay on that hard surface to dump them. Another thing that I've been doing that, anybody can do it. We get like orange juice. I hate having to buy things in these containers, but it's the only way you can. Orange juice in the 1/2 gallons. So when I have really yucky stuff in the kitchen, I put it in that and put it in my bin. And so I can empty that into the organic waste, drive up and throw that ucky empty container right into the compactor. So for me, it's like very nicely strategically placed. And I want to, say thank you.
Okay.
And I have a question about CMAS.
Mhm.
So since, is driver wait time, is that going up?
Or is it
So-
down?
It depends when they go.
Depends on-
Usually the first out of the shoot Monday mornings, they could probably get 2 runs done by noon time. There's sometimes when the second load, the guy doesn't get back until a little after noon time. And then when they go Wednesday, depending on what time they go, it's either hit or miss.
Mhm.
Like approximately how much wait time once they get there?
Well, sometimes it's been up to 2 hours.
Is that still holding true?
Yeah, it's a little better now.
Okay.
I can
What are
check
you
with
hearing
them.
about that, Todd? Anything?
It's pretty much been the same thing for years,
Yeah, I was hoping you would drop a bit.
but it's also the time of year too. I mean, we get such a huge influx of people, in the Cape. in the
Yeah.
summertime, That just drives up wait times.
Well,
Oh,
once
I bet
again,
it does. Yeah.
when there's less available places to dump.
Yep.
The only one that's gonna go, and,
Right.
once they're a monopoly, the prices are gonna be through the roof.
We still have Middleborough landfill, that's waste management run, that does take pretty much just waste management stuff, but you've got zero waste down there too.
Tell me what the deal is in Braintree. I see all the trash trucks pulling in there. Is that just
It's a transfer station,
it's just a transfer?
yeah,
station?
all that stuff goes down the Siemens.
It does end up. in
It's a
Seaman.
Covanta facility, it's a transfer site.
What's the current cost track?
It's 80 plus, right?
$84 and change, I think.
Issues, that's low rate.
I have the scale. I can send it out to you guys again.
And that's up in 2029.
The most
20,
recent
21.
quotes I've seen for bids are right around 105 to 110 startings.
Yeah, I have the contract rates. Paul had sent that to me.
I don't know what the gate rate is, so it's gotta be darn near 150 to 60, right?
Do you know what it
Gate
is
rate,
when it
if you're
ends?
just- You or I just.
Like I know there's an escalation clause.
Yeah, there is. It's like,
Maybe 200.
it could be 100 or a little bit more. Don't hold me to that.
What?
I haven't looked at that scale in a while, the final.
97 and change, I think is the last 20.
All right, so Paul mentioned, we had talked about putting some kind of hand sanitizer there. And I think I sent it out to you. Uline offers this post with a dispenser on it. Again, it would be something we would pay for out of RDP and we would have to maintain. It does come on a stand, so it would have to be somehow attached to our current corral there. I don't think it would be too bad. What do you think, Paul?
Is it for outdoor use?
My only concern was that,
Is it for outdoor use?
yeah. My only concern about this whole thing is,
Mhm.
I'm looking at the weather.
right, I know there's alcohol in it. Is there enough
doesn't
alcohol in
freeze.
it so it doesn't
It
freeze?
doesn't freeze.
Okay.
It shouldn't not, that stuff doesn't freeze. I'm worried about the mechanism and they're like either freezing up or breaking. Because
It's all plastic?
I'm sure they're all plastic.
Yeah.
So okay, so the refill, there's 4 bottles in a case and case. So $29. $29 per bottle.
That's what it sounds like.
I'll clarify that. And then the dispenser is 31. The stand is 130.
Jeez, think you'll be able to make-
I know
I
this,
was thinking that, but
Or attach it to a fence or some post or something.
yeah, I don't know how that would work with this particular dispenser.
right, the stand is made for the dispenser.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's gotta be holes in the back that's attached to a wall. right?
There's no big picture on Uline to show you what it is.
On the back.
Can
yeah.
go.
Most of those have
But
like
you know, I can
those
call
holes in
them.
the back,
Okay.
the weird holes, and you just put a screw in the wall and attach it
Yeah,
to the wall. So
Yeah,
That's the dispenser part. But
Yeah.
The stand, as we know, the corral up there is made out of lousy old
pallets.
pallets.
So attach to,
So do we really want to hang something on the pallets? Or
Well,
we just
yeah,
put this
yeah.
next to it?
I don't know, just.
Part of
Private sheet
the
house.
question I have is that location, can that be permanent?
Anything can be done.
No, seriously, because let me just tell you what I'm thinking, and we're gonna increase the size. How many containers are we working toward? 3?
Well, it'll depend on how many people participate, David. Right now, we're still able to accommodate everybody
With the
with
2, right.
Yeah.
Well, it could be modular too. What I was thinking of doing is getting some 4x4s.
Yep.
And getting a post hole digger, which I have, and building something that has some substance to it. It'd be easier to maintain in the sense that whatever maintenance is required, in addition to which is a better place to hang a sign, so to speak.
Okay.
And then something like this, it should be attached.
Okay.
It should
Yeah,
be
you're on the
attached.
page. Yep. That's what I was thinking.
And
Hey, Paul, hadn't you asked your guys to put some lumber aside?
Yeah, as they see have some good stuff coming in.
Do they have it?
Because
Yeah, okay.
most of their pieces they're getting.
sure,
Sure.
yeah.
So
Okay.
every once in a while you'll get an 8-call weekend warrior that doesn't. Hey, there's a whole 2x4 it is. So I said, when you see those, especially pressure treated ones, put
Right.
those aside.
Yeah, but they don't have.
Not yet, but just like anything like that, the word's out and eventually they'll grab it.
it.
So once they grab it, I mean, it could be full-time now. I mean, knock on wood, for the last couple of winters, we haven't had major snowstorms.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Could I ask, you know, what you use for the propane tanks, like a chain link fence?
Yeah, that was the old dog,
Would that be like? Because the air could move through it and it wouldn't, smell and like critters probably couldn't get into it.
We don't have any problem with critters, have we?
no, because the covers stay down.
Yeah. No,
Now,
I don't know.
every time I go up there, I don't see anybody engage in that little strap on the top.
It's hard to keep it clipped.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
But-
But the lids stay
The
down.
lid stayed on, which I'm amazed at. Usually I thought there would be handles up in there.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen, we had a rat problem up there 2 years ago, up near the main office.
Mhm.
I haven't knock on wood.
Yeah.
Now you have hawks. You have beautiful hawks.
Hawks
out
are
there.
fine.
Yeah.
They're nice to look at, but some rats, not so much.
Yeah.
No, I know. The hawks are probably taking out the rats.
Yeah, probably.
Well, don't say that. 'cause,
Why not say that? That's the cycle of life. What a good way for him to go.
Because conservation has an issue with the rats being poisoned.
Well, if you're not poisoning them,
And the
then-
hawks eat the rats and the hawks get poisoned.
yeah, I know.
That's-
We have a
Yeah, but-
exterminator company.
Exterminator, okay. All right. So David, also, I just point out that the library things also has a postal digger.
Perfect.
And if you think I'm gonna allow a
Full
gentleman
circle
of your
right there.
stature and your age to dig post hole dig in my transfer station, you're sadly mistaken.
I do it slowly.
If you wanna supervise, I'll make sure, I'll go up there and dig them sort of things.
So what are we thinking here? Are
Don't
we thinking
put it in.
about purchasing some lumber and making it
Well,
more
you
permanent.
know, if, sometimes it can be collected and,
Yeah.
yeah, purchasing if necessary.
Okay,
I have some stuff too, that
okay.
probably. could-
See what I got left in my, I might have things left over from my building days.
Okay, so
You and I can talk offline on this.
that might be a nice weather project.
Yes, you know, maybe
Oh,
April,
yeah.
May, not June, not
Not
definitely.
today wouldn't be a good day.
Sunny this.
Well, let's be realistic now, Dave. It's February 6th, whatever today's date
Okay,
is.
but in the meantime, if we're all agreed that we would like to put a dispenser up there, I can call Uline and ask them some questions about whether that can, because it talks about it, a wall, as being a wall dispenser, which tells me that
It's got those little
attached
puppies
to-
and you put the screw. in
to
the wall,
something
it just
else, but-
attaches to it.
You know, if they can send me a picture, give us a better idea.
Yeah, by the mounting requirements.
The people I've worked with there have been super. I have to say, they really.
What,
been
a
super.
Uline?
Huh?
Uline?
Yeah,
We have an account there too. So
yeah.
my phone started with them. I always just use Granger. Because Granger had everything. And then, my last foreman before Sean used Granger. And then Sean, for some reason, decided getting Uline. He's like, and their prices are pretty decent.
I think they are. That's where we get the buckets.
Yeah, the shovels, we bought shovels from them
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, and like I say, their service has been really super. As soon as we opened an account with them, they wanted to come down and talk to me. I said, no, you didn't really want to talk to me. I'm not buying anything else. This is all I'm buying. Okay, so anything else on our, we did get the monthly bill. I did sign off on that. Hopefully they've been paid by now for, it, and same thing, it was $180. So that's all taken care of there.
And you notice the 2 new signs up at the compactors? That
I
was-
haven't been there.
Well, you've had issues, but,
Yeah.
no, I shouldn't say issues. You're right, Vanessa.
Jeez.
But, part of DEP, every year my engineer goes up there and does a report for DEP and we had to update the signs of waistband products at the hop. Which kind of confuses me because on the signs up there now,
Mhm.
no mattresses, no drywall, no
Textiles.
textiles.
Mhm.
So I said to Todd,
In this bin,
well, you know that, I know that.
but it doesn't say that explicitly.
Right, so I think a lot of residents might look at it and say, well, we can't throw this stuff away here.
Mhm.
So once again, it's all about education. Like I said, my employees up there are trying to tell them.
Right,
direct
that's
them.
why I was thinking if we could do the signage, we could make it a little more explicit so people could understand better. Not in there, not here, other place.
I mean, the only other thing is the amount of stuff they're now getting on top of the compactors. Because the swap shop's closed,
There's
right?
your swap shop,
Oh, yeah, that's a new swap shop.
Yeah,
And
and that was the one before.
it was, and
It was.
by having a swap shop, it made it a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
But, people just like to drop stuff off.
they don't want to get rid of something that's usable, they
Yeah.
think.
Right.
Some of the stuff I've seen, I don't think anybody could use it, but, they just,
But once again, savers, and I brought a big old load of it down there yesterday.
from
From my house
up from here.
that we had in storage that my wife had all kinds of kitchen gadgets she got from her mother. For her mother passed. So all these appliances are 40 years old. Now they're all new looking because,
Yeah, they haven't been used,
but what are you doing? She didn't want to throw them away because A, recycle. And B, it's my mother's and
Right, but if they're 40 years old, chances are savers.
well,
They're
it all
probably
just-
way better quality.
Well, sure.
Probably, yeah.
You bet.
They've lasted.
They lasted 40 plus years.
Yeah,
But what do you do with it?
I know.
If you had a directory sign, like where people pull in or somewhere where everyone kind of gathers a little bit, that actually said what, kind of the layout of the transfer station with textiles go here, bottles and pans go here, I don't know, just kind of a map of Kind of like Disneyland, right?
We had them when we first did it over. All 2,800 people got stickers, got them out.
Yeah, but I mean.
That was years ago.
At the transfer station.
Yeah, but-
Takes- You are.
Yeah, but I
here.
think it's even bigger than that. Like, so Savers was started in California for exactly what you're saying, Paul. These things are too good for the trash. Where can they go? And so Savers has popped up everywhere, sort of like Salvation Army and Goodwill and all that other stuff. But I was thinking about like, what does the Restore take? You know, and can we put a list for people? Because I've tried to bring some stuff out there, and they go, no, we don't want that. We want this, whatever.
Mhm.
You know, what does Savers take? What does various consignment shops take that you can just donate instead of like having to like, be hooked to the stuff that you put there? But
Big
No,
brothers, big
um,
sisters.
that the textiles
Salad.
there that. Yeah, but yeah, I don't even know what that one on Long Pond Road takes or does, or what's going on with them now that they opened that big building. But I don't know how many people put things into the textiles, just thinking, this could be used to make a car interior carpet or something. It doesn't have to be, ready to go on a shelf for sale and stuff like that. So I had been sort of thinking about that, but I'm not really sure where. I'm with you. I don't think a lot of people look at the website, so I'm not sure where these things go
No.
to
no, and
publicize and educate.
Yeah, and we've lost our main avenue of education, which was the local newspaper. I would put articles in there almost every month. And with the loss of a newspaper, you don't really have a central spot where people look for information.
When the more signs we have up there, the more they're gonna be ignored.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the key is. Maybe we add that to the package you hand out to people when they get their sticker.
any way we can educate these people. But once again, we give you a 1, 2, 3, I think it's a 4-page
It's big.
double-sided list of stuff already.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how much residents look at that.
I don't either, but they can't say they
No.
weren't given the information.
No, and I make sure that whether it's myself or Lynn or whoever else assists us selling stickers, when you give the person a sticker through that window,
Mhm.
you hand them a rules and regulations. That way they can't come back and say, well, I don't know.
Right.
You were given one. Now you choose not to read it. That's totally up to you. And I try to make a joke out of it when I see people, folks, if you have a tough time sleeping, pull this out of the drawer, start reading it. You'll be asleep in 5 minutes.
It's a good bathroom reading material.
There you go.
Yeah,
I need to go to the library.
I've been working on the new one, trying to add in, I'm not very good at the block it, the way you have the program that was used to put everything in there. But we need to add the organics on it.
Okay.
So I tried working on it and get very far before I said, okay, that's it. So does Lynn have that computer capability? Does she know that software?
That was made before she got here. She might. I don't
I'll
know.
have to talk to her because we do need to add the organics as part of the standard.
She's more
offerings.
computer savvy than you were.
When it comes to the website, yes.
There you
And I mean, she's a lot more Sarah.
Okay, David, Jean, Vanessa, have we started any discussions with the schools?
Yes, we did. We had a meeting, a sub meeting, and sort of reviewed what connections we had. And so Jean is kind of the institutional knowledge on that. So if you want to talk about what you've been up to, Jean.
So I reached out to the 3 people from the Kingston schools and the intermediate school, Joe Curran. They are still recycling. He has about 6 students on the green team and they collect the material on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they empty the classroom bins in a large wheeled container and bring them out to the recycling dumpster. They They actually got an award, or a shout out spot on WHDH News. The issue they have there is their loading dock is tiny and the regular trash bin is up against that. So it's easy for people to just throw stuff in the trash, where the other one, you have to come down the stairs and go out to it and then lift it up. So they're looking to see if there's something we could do to help them with that.
Okay.
So I don't know what that would take.
I'd say reverse it, but then you're gonna get the trash and recycle. Is there any way you can move them side by side? Or
It's more like a step than a loading dock. I mean, I don't know exactly, but it's maybe 5 feet wide from my memory. And it's a set of stairs that go down to the driveway. It's pretty high up.
so in California, what they would do at the schools, because nobody thought about trash when they were building these places, which was unbelievable. It's like, where do you think the stuff's gonna go? Anyway, what they would do is they would actually put the front load containers right in front of each other. And the driver would come and move one that serves the trash, put it back, and then the recycle driver would come and serves that. So you can do that. You can stack it basically back to back, but it's one idea. So just, and I don't know why people don't think of trash when they're building these things, but they just don't. It's ridiculous. Where is it gonna go, people? Come on.
Yeah, I guess they just don't think that
Yeah.
there's gonna be any trash produced in any schools. Why would there be trash? Well, we all know, everybody has trash.
Back in the old BFI days, we actually used to work with the architects that were building these big facilities and new buildings to actually incorporate that stuff in, because what we found on the trash end was there was no space for trash or recycling. So we would work with them and say, look, you need this approximately this amount of space for 2 bins, you know, and it all depended on the size of the business, how many people were there, do they have a cafeteria, do they not, and then we would base it on the size container they would need. So, but yeah, no, it's one of those things that is overlooked.
Interesting.
Originally, I had a paper retriever bin at every school, all 6 schools. But when they went under, they pulled them. I had worked with Republic and they put 2 containers at some schools. And they use one for recycling and one for trash.
Thank you. Take care. Good to see you.
Take care of yourself.
Hi,
Good luck.
guys. Thank you.
I might steal this.
That's what I'm just.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
Bye.
Sorry, gotta go.
All right. Okay, so where did we leave it with the schools?
So I'm gonna follow up with him and see what else he can do to help. The elementary school, I talked to Mrs. McCartney. She was the go-to person.
Mhm.
And she said they're not doing anything at the elementary school right now since the COVID. And she
Is
is,
she open to trying to reinstitute?
they have a new principal, and since Paula Betosiak left, that the new principal, like with COVID, whatever, it hasn't come up. But when I asked her, she said she's on the school building committee and she'll bring that up. She said she's not sure about what the feeling is with the custodians, like
Mhm.
if they will buy into it. And the other one, the middle school, like the junior high, Michelle Curran, I talked to her and she said that they're having parent teacher conferences this week. And she asked if I could hold on till next week. So I'll follow up with her then.
Yeah, okay.
But I know they're doing well because she's got it down with a well-oiled machine.
Okay, good. Great.
It's a smaller school. They have all the equipment and she's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And the kids get, I think, volunteer credits or something.
Yeah, I mean, once you get it established, I think it just keeps going. It's getting it established. And you gotta get buy-in, like you said, from everybody.
Well, when I went to all the PTOs and then I went to all the school committees and I had hard copies, the Massachusetts CRM 019, whatever the state statute is for mandatory recycling of particular materials. And I said, well, Kingston is one of the first 35 green communities, and we have bylaws that stipulate they have to do recycling of certain materials. So, I mean, I showed them that, and I'm like, I'm just trying to help you guys, give you what you need or whatever, so that we can be compliant with the current statute. So I presented it that way as opposed to trying to beat him over the head with a stick.
No, I
So-
think it's the right way. Okay, good. Well, at least it's a start. We'll see where it goes, but thank you all for offering
Well,
to initiate this.
Gene's done most of the legwork and had a lot of information to begin with. I thought it was a good meeting. Vanessa, the three of us. I thought it was productive. Now, we can move forward.
Good, good. All right, yeah, I think it's important because we know how valuable it is to get the kids understanding the importance of recycling. Then they think
And
with
that's it. And
you know.
it will spawn itself. I mean,
It
it will
will.
grow.
All right, good. Okay, so let's see what else we want to cover here. So does that include the green teams? Is that who you've spoken with?
Well, I went on the Green Team website and I found Kingston and pulled the names off. And I think there were only two names
Yeah,
on
there
there.
are
I think
two.
Joe
Yeah.
Curran and Michelle Shapen.
Right, right. So those are we need to contact them too. Okay.
Well, those are the people I talked
Oh,
to.
those are the people you talked to.
Well,
Okay,
I think we should meet again and kind of discuss a strategy. Because if those are the people that are working, but the other schools don't have people that are working, we can see through administration if there's a way to encourage something to get started.
Well, I think when I talk to Michelle next week, she'll know what's going on at the high school and we'll see where that can go. But the principal of Hingham High School, who's been extraordinarily active in recycling, I had him come to Kingston and we went to the intermediate school and he did a presentation about what they do. And
how long ago was that, Jean?
sense of time, but I think PAC, the reason we did it there, so PAC could record it. So I was looking for the link because I'm sure it's still on PAC somewhere. I just have to find it. So I was looking for it. If all else fails, I'll just call PAC.
Yeah. And it's Rick, right?
Rick Swanson.
Yeah.
And he's an alumni. He graduated from Silver Lake.
Well, he was a teacher there too. He was a basketball coach. So I'm wondering if he'd be willing to come down again.
He was very open to that.
Yeah.
And I think he's buddies with the assistant principal. I'm not sure what the title is at the high school.
Yeah. And I mean, if you brought him in conjunction with the green teams that might be a real boost for them too. Okay. All right. Well, I'll leave it to the three of you to decide when you want to meet again and where you want to go with this. But I think it's a good start. It's a real good start. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do we want to make a motion to buy that Purell thing?
We can. I don't have for sure. I want to nail down the costs and what parts we actually need. So if we could do that at the next meeting, that'd be okay.
Okay.
All right, so I will.
Well, there's touch-free dispenser and it says wall mount or dispenser.
Right.
And then the stand and drip tray.
I don't know if we need a drip tray, but and I'm hoping maybe not have to purchase the stand, but I want to be sure of the cost of those, of the bottles of stuff too.
I mean, my feeling is that we just need the dispenser in the product,
Right,
because we can, you know, if we can build something that has permanence to it to some degree, then we just put it on a post,
right.
you know? And
I agree. But I want to be sure I know
yes,
what dollar amounts
I
we're committing
understand that.
ourselves to, because that's got to be part of the motion.
it's, you know, then it's gotta be maintained, which I don't really see to be a big issue.
No, I'm there. Usually I'm there once a week.
Hmm.
This is not a permanent condition, so hopefully in another couple of months, I'll be able to drive again.
I have the website and it says for a case of, and there's 4 refills.
Yeah, but then if you look, the next one, it talks about the price per bottle.
So you can buy either a single bottle or like volume, like a case.
Yeah, but I don't see how it's. Yeah, I just want to clarify that.
Okay,
And the gel, I was going to go with the gel, not the foam. The foam is far more expensive.
No, the gels, I think the gel works for it.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to clarify, make sure I understand what we would be committing ourselves to, dollars. Because if we have time today, I'd like to kind of set up a budget of what we want to spend our money on this year, and we want to go about that. I'm sorry, Paul had to leave early, but I think I have enough information on, we can move forward on that. So other considerations, rain barrel sale, I did send off an inquiry to the company. They do offer, community programs. So I've sent off an email to them asking how we could get involved with that for one time.
Where are we
event.
at with, where are we at with recycle bins? I know that the town's done them in the past. Is there a need for that again, do you think?
To hand out recycle bins?
No, to sell them like we're gonna do with the rain barrels, backyard recycle bins.
compost
Compost bins,
or
what I mean, yeah, compost bins.
Those Paul has, and he buys those and sells them through the highway department.
Oh,
it's
okay.
supposed to be almost like an enterprise account, so when he gets money from, he's supposed to use that money to buy replacements.
Okay, so
So
Paul,
he should be fine.
yeah, Paul
unless
handles
otherwise.
that. When I've checked with him, he's always had some in stock.
Well, we should probably publicize that. And also, I think at one point I was looking to get one and went to the conservation. I know we've had changes in conservation officers, but they knew
Mhm.
nothing about it. And so I think we've got to bridge all of that, that conservation can refer people to the highway department. The highway department can publicize that they have them, what they have and what they cost. Because I think people might be starting to think that this is something they can do when they see what organics are happening at the transfer station. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'll make sure the conservation agent knows about it and his staff.
And if I knew more about it, I could publicize it when I talk to people too, but I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah. When we've done some events where we've had an information table, we've actually had a compost bin there. So people know about it. When we have other information tables, we've always had pamphlets and explanation that they are available for sale.
Should we do something for Earth Day?
We have stopped doing something on Earth Day, Vanessa, because it's always a day from hell weather-wise. Dot McFarland and I forget who else. We stood out in 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain one year on Earth Day. And of course, no one even stopped because it was pouring rain and blowing. And we've had that experience too often. April is not a good month in New England to have an outdoor event. So we've pretty much written off Earth Day for that purpose.
I don't
Okay.
think we've ever had it once that it didn't rain.
Yeah, it's always been
nasty.
really nasty weather. And you don't really accomplish anything because nobody's gonna stop by and talk to you. It's, unless we could do it inside somewhere, but it's gotta be a venue where people are already gathering. People do not come to a standalone Earth Day event, in this community. So we've just always tried to do something at the transfer station. And like I say, the weather has never cooperated, so that's why we haven't really focused our efforts on doing something on Earth Day.
One time we did something, the Green Energy Committee, Recycling Committee, any earth kind of friendly thing, we did it at the Reed Building.
Mhm.
And we had a bunch of different vendors and stuff, and that was very successful, I thought.
Well, I think we had more than 50 people stop by. Yeah, but, it was a lot of work. I'm not sure 50 people makes it worth everybody's while. We don't seem to have too many community-wide events where we can participate. I think the only one recently has been the agricultural fair. And where we're catching people already at an event. I'm trying to think where else.
I used to do police night out,
Yeah.
and I used to borrow all the recycling bins from
Mhm.
Marshfield Fair, which is owned by SSRC. So they were just sitting there anyway, so they let us borrow them. So that worked out really good.
Okay, but did you get many people at your table? Because I joined you 1 or 2 years for that. I don't remember too many people stopping by. The same thing with, trying to think the other event.
Voting, like we had
Yeah,
a
we should
table
keep,
outside.
out, but people were there for one purpose. They don't really want to spend too much time talking about recycling. I know we've had information tables at other events. I'm trying to think what they were.
What was the event that we had at the beach?
That's the other event. The farmer's market. There was a farmer's market, and then there's also, for a while, the KBA was doing an event down there every August. And we did have an information table there. At the time, I think we had reusable shopping bags that we were handing out.
That was well attended.
The event was well attended, and we did get some traffic stopping by the table. So I know you and I were there. Jean, did you participate in that? No, okay. But of course, they're no longer doing that event. So Vanessa, every time there is a community event where we think we can get some traffic, we do try and have an information table. Obviously, if somebody hears of some event they think would be appropriate, let us know. We just need to borrow a table, and I've got the tablecloth and I've got a lot of brochures. But good point, Vanessa.
Okay. Hey, Everett, have you ever been to the Plymouth Herring Run Festival?
I have not. I do know that they do a lot of, not necessarily vendors, but there's a lot of nonprofits and eco-conscious groups that do have tables.
Yeah, I think Sustainable
Sure.
Plymouth goes, and the Herring Pond Watershed Group goes. Jones River went this past year. It's a really great event. And if you guys can get your recycling committee off the ground, it would be a great place to publicize. And if you did that, we could piggyback just for the education component, but I don't know how many Kingston people we would get over there.
Yeah, we also, not to sidetrack the meeting, but we also are working as the Energy Committee. We are reviving our Energy Expo, which we did a few years ago, and we already are in talks with about 30 different vendors to kickstart that off the ground again. So if Kingston if we do get the recycling committee and all that want to come and look and see how that actually plays. Maybe something could happen like that in Kingston as well too, and that could combine both the groups and do a spur of the moment event to get the outreach for not just the recycling committee here, but also the green energy committee here as well too.
Is that something that, Rep. Muratori and Rep. Sinatra sponsor or pull together?
No, this is the energy committee itself.
Okay.
We sponsored one probably a little over a decade ago, that we did our first one, and then we got a couple of years of traction, and then it went by the wayside when the committee turned over. But it's one of our committee members' working group goals to actually revive that and have it either a yearly or a bi-yearly event. So
Okay, if you see anything there where you think would be a good fit for us, would you keep us in mind?
yeah, I'll keep you in mind. And also, because I have the energy committee tomorrow night on, so I'll put that in the working group's ear. And if they want, I'll give him your contact information because they have that. And
Okay,
if you want, you can put a table on there for this space.
okay. Are you getting our agendas?
I'm not getting them by,
Probably.
I'm just
Do you
getting
wanna
them
be
off the
on our
website.
email list?
Sure.
Okay, at the end, give me your email
Okay.
address, okay, we'll get you on there. Okay. All right, so, I've done the rain barrel. I've also, reached out to Blue Native Plants about, a native plant sale. So I'm waiting to hear back from them on the native plant sale.
Where are they located, Blue Native?
They're in Norwell, behind San Pietro,
Behind what?
San Pietro Restaurant.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It does not look like they already have a setup for online ordering. So I'm not sure. This might be, this might not fit their method of operating, but I'll wait to hear back from them. You know, if they already had an online setup, it would probably be a lot easier to do this, but I'll see what they have to say about it, see if we can come up with.
Do they run a
something.
nursery or is it?
Yes, it's a nursery.
It is a nursery.
Yep, I've been there.
Yeah, I've been out there too.
I don't think I ever heard of it. I'm surprised.
I heard of it through our conservation agent. Because I've been talking about this native plant sale for about 2 years now with him, with the garden club, with you guys, with the agricultural commission. You know, that I'd like to promote more native plants in the area because it'd be better for our pollinators.
Well, that's, you know, that's primarily my interest in native. I mean, it's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, the plants that we're buying, like butterfly bushes, they offer no nutrients for the butterflies. They're pretty and the butterflies think that there's something there, but they actually have no nutrient for them. So, you know, just helping people understand what are considered native plants. Why do we need native plants? What does it mean for our whole environment? You know, because I know we're the recycling committee, but to me, we're trying to improve our environment.
Well, that's it.
And any way that we can improve our environment seems to fall under our umbrella of things we could do. So that's why I'm pursuing this. I think I told you what I have in mind is that we would have a presentation. I don't know how many people would attend it, but a presentation on native plants. And then offer them the opportunity to order them online through a company, pay for them. And then the company would come one day, deliver them here, and then whoever paid for their plants would come and pick them up. We had done this several years ago with the Agricultural Commission on saplings, tree saplings. And it worked very well. You know, people ordered what they wanted, they paid for it. We didn't have to handle any money. We just stood there and made sure people got the plants they paid for. It was a pretty easy transaction for the Agricultural Commission, but we accomplished something by getting people to plant more trees. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this.
We did something like that as a fundraiser for the school.
Mhm.
People bought LED bulbs
Mhm.
and Eversource paid for them, but the money that they paid went to the school. It was like a
Oh,
fundraising thing.
nice.
And they actually had a really adorable people who came in on the stage and did like a thing about the environment and stuff and the kids, and everyone really loved it, and that encouraged everybody to, you know, buy in. And
Mhm.
they had like a booth outside, you can sign up and you pay for the LED bulbs and you get spotlights, and then they all come to a central location and then people come
Yeah,
and pick
just
this stuff.
distribute. Yeah, so it can be, you know, it's the same thing with the rain barrels. People order them and pay for them online, and then we have a distribution day. So that our participation is somewhat limited. We would promote it, you know, and make all the arrangements, but we don't have to handle money. We don't have to have a bunch of stuff delivered, and then if it doesn't sell, it has to go back. This is all pre-sold. And I think, you know, it's a cleaner way to do an event for a volunteer organization. Okay. I had gotten, I knew that Todd was meeting with the Plymouth people today. And I said, Todd, would you like us to put together a list of all of our initiatives? And he said, yeah. So I sent that to him the other day. And if you want, I can send it out to you. I'm sure I've missed something, but you know, I think it's a pretty impressive list of different initiatives we've undertaken. You know, obviously we didn't get our pay as you throw pass, but we made a valiant effort to do that. So I just wanted to make you aware that I had provided that to him. I also got an email from a Joe Wynn, who is with LRP Recycling. He wanted to discuss removing and recycling mattresses. So I forwarded that on to Paul, since that's Paul's bailiwick and ours. There's also the Mass Recycle Conference. It's going to be held in March in Marlborough. And they're having a specific program on food waste diversion. And I wrote to them saying, you know, is this going to be available by Zoom, or is it going to be recorded so people can see it? And the answer was no. But then someone else said he'd be interested in filming it. So I don't know where that went. That's just one of those listservs. Because after I was getting emails from all kinds of people asking about our organic collection program. But to me, there's always more to learn, and I like to participate in as many of these webinars and training things as I can, because you never know when you're going to latch on to something that could really work for us. So just wanted to make you
I
aware.
think that's a pay thing. You have to pay for it.
Yeah,
We do.
yeah, this conference.
I've, in the past,
Have you gone?
I have a
Uh-huh.
couple of times I actually got an award there, but what I did was volunteer, like helping set up, because they have a bunch of vendors come
And then
in,
you didn't have.
so I didn't have to pay.
Okay,
So
because I've been reluctant to attend conferences where it costs money, because I didn't want to use our RDP money. I mean, you can, but I just didn't feel I wanted to use our RDP money for a conference for one person.
Jean, can you back up for 1 second?
Sure.
Joe Wynn was from what recycling company?
He is from the LRP Recycling.
P as in Peter?
Yes,
Okay.
LRP. And I don't know anything about them, but it was.
He reached
obviously-
out to you or you reached out to them or what happened?
No, I got an email from him. So I don't know if he's just going through every town's recycling committee or whatever, but I forwarded it to Paul because we don't make those arrangements. Paul does.
With Claire, could we send that to Claire so she has that as a resource?
I guess I could. Okay.
So Mass Recycle also gave an award to one of our schools in Kingston for their work in recycling.
Recently or,
It was a while back.
okay. All right. I got an email from Peter Neville, from Plymouth, who comes to some of our meetings. And he was mentioning this group called Save That Stuff. I was not familiar with them, so I looked them up to see what was going on there. And it says it's a leading Boston-based recyclable materials and waste resource management company. We help over 3,000 New England businesses and institutions safely and efficiently dispose of a wide range of recoverable materials. And they deal with mixed paper, cans, plastic bottles, rigid plastics, metals, food waste, compostable organics, electronics, pallets, styrofoam, caught my eye, and universal waste. We also take a range of other hard to recycle materials and items that have reuse potential. I did not delve into their complete list there. They also do event recycling. It sounds like they're more commercially oriented, but I did send the information on to Paul. They also do waste audits. And it was interesting. Now, I don't know who they're collecting from, but they have a little trash can here that said 29% was paper, 13% was wood, 10% yard debris, 8% metals, miscellaneous organics, inorganics. What are inorganics? I don't know what they are. 8% textiles, 8% plastics, 7%. Organic 7%, food waste 7%, glass was less than 3%, which surprised me. So I don't, anybody know anything more about this group?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't either, so I'll ask Paul a little bit more about that. Maybe I'll talk with Todd first and see what Todd has to say about it. But like I said, what caught my eye was the styrofoam.
And they're headquartered in Boston.
Yeah,
Where, do you know?
let me see if I have it. I didn't print everything. It was a long. I go through paper and ink cartridges like crazy. I'm sorry, I don't have
That's all
that.
right.
But if you look them up,
I will.
there's a lot of stuff on their website. Don't see any address on what I printed.
That's okay. I'll look it up.
Okay. Okay.
So if I tip, get an Epson printer, because they have tanks.
Uh-huh.
They don't have cartridges, they have like tanks and you fill them up with liquid ink and they last forever.
Pepper, yeah.
Yeah, I've got an old, mine, but I don't, the printer I have works. And so I'm always reluctant to get something that might be better if I have something that it already
Mhm.
works. But the cartridges are expensive.
Yeah, they are. which is really. Farm, yeah,
They give you the
Some-
print, they give you the printer and they charge
for the,
Yeah.
for the ink. That's how they make their money.
so, just in the last couple of days, I sent you this article. The headline jumped out at me and said, this ancient materials displacing plastics and creating $1 billion industry. And it's cork. And the whole article was about cork. And how they harvest cork and what it's being used. for.
Yeah, maybe it was the article that you sent me, but I just recently read about
Yeah, I
that.
sent this to all of
Yeah.
you.
And how they go about harvesting it.
Yeah, unfortunately, these trees only grow in certain
Yeah, I
areas.
know.
And they don't grow fast. And I remember the wine industry had to move to those synthetic corks because there was a shortage.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a low, slow growing evergreen tree, in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, we saw a lot of them in Portugal.
Yeah, it says in Portugal, the world's largest cork producer, the oaks are cherished. They're the country's national tree, protected by law. Spain is the second largest producer, followed by Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Italy, and France. So it's that whole Mediterranean area where these trees, but apparently there's quite a science to removing the cork. And then I think it said you can only harvest it every 9 years. So it's not like bamboo where you can harvest it constantly, other products, but still it's another material that is available. It's a natural material that, unfortunately, it has to go through some processes to make it usable. And it did say part of the carbon absorbed by cork oak trees is transferred to cork products, which can be used for long periods, repurposed and recycled. Cork is carbon negative, can store more carbon than what is required to produce it. But it goes through the process and several steps before it's the product that we know is cork. But I still thought it was an interesting article. Another natural material that could be used as a substitute for all the bad things that we're currently producing. Let's see. Did I mention this last meeting? Todd had put together a summary of how much tonnage of waste Kingston has produced from 2019 through 2022. So let me just, 2019 was 2,900. 2020 was 31. 2020 was 3,000. And then 2022 was 2,700. So we had a little increase there during COVID, which I don't think surprises anybody. People were cleaning out their houses. They had nothing else to do. They were home, so they were cleaning out.
And remodeling.
And remodeling, yeah. So overall, the trend was downward, even though I had that little peak there. So I appreciated Todd putting that together for us.
Does he have something on recycling too? Like how those numbers are tracked?
I don't know. I could ask him.
Well, I have a feeling because we all had to go back to paper bags and plastic bags at the store because they wouldn't use our recycle bags. People were using paper towels like crazy and hand sanitizer bottles. And who knows if those got recycled. Everybody thought everything was contaminated.
Right, right. Things were a little different during that period as far as trash goes. It was an interesting period. Okay, and I think I'd mentioned to you before an article about using wood pulp and to form packaging, and I think we've all gotten stuff in packaged with like a form made out of wood pulp. And I had sent, it's this company called Tan Bar. And I had sent them a couple of inquiries as to just how they were made, because when I sent this to Claire at SSRC, she said, I think they still use a lot of chemicals in water
Well,
to,
they have to,
to do this. So I sent an inquiry to them and they were hesitant to give me too much information. Said raw materials and chemical additions are based on the product criteria of each unique custom item we produce and are proprietary. We currently use virgin wood pulp and strive to purchase from FSC certified feedstock. So again, it's another, it sounds good, you know, that we're using wood for packaging, but you have to look at the process it goes through to become that packaging. And again, it's tons of water.
I was gonna say, it's probably energy intensive too, and then there's the whatever compound they're using to keep it together.
Yeah, yeah.
Whole Foods has container that, you know, you look at it, hey, this is pretty cool, you know, it looks like a paper product,
Mhm.
could be a wood product, but it goes in the trash. You know, and better than plastic maybe,
Mhm.
and
Well,
so,
that-
you know, going to
yeah.
the point of, you know, the proprietary, it is proprietary because they know what you don't know.
Right. Yeah, they were not about to tell me exactly how they do it.
I'm not gonna tell you the chemicals we use.
But I mean, they at least acknowledge that there's chemicals involved, and we know there has to be water.
Of
So,
course.
you know, I don't know if there's the perfect packaging out there. I know some countries, they use banana leaves for, you know, different types of packaging, that sort of thing.
Well, you know, it's just straight uphill because you know, you just go to the grocery store. And it's demoralizing. Everything comes, it's wrapped up.
Yeah, it has to be shipped. It has to
I-
be
no, I- well-
packaged, you know?
Well, yes, I understand. But, you know, when we were all younger, I worked in a grocery store. There were no packages. I mean, it had canned foods and, you know, stuff like that, but
Mhm,
although all the produce was all loose.
mhm.
And I still try to do that, and when
I
you get
do
to
too.
checkout and they try to put it in a bag, no bag.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, I try to avoid any produce that's pre-wrapped.
I won't, well, there's certain things you have to. Unfortunately, but for the most part, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm on your page, I don't.
Yeah, I try not to buy, because they'll sell you, you know, like 4 apples in a package. No, no. First of all, I wouldn't pick that way.
Well, of course, well, even oranges, I mean, you get a bag of oranges, you
Yeah.
get home and, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
they're not all so good. All right, so we have that. Okay, this was from Claire Bukowski about Bay State Textile and Big Brother, Big Sister. Paying towns 8 cents a pound, which comes to 160 a ton. For bin material. And
Wait, back up. You said Bay State Textiles and then you said Big Brother, Big Sister.
yeah,
Um,
both of them are paying 8 cents a pound or $160 a ton.
and those are 2 separate bins at the transfer station?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bay State Books is offering 3 cents a pound or $60 a ton for books collected in their bins. And then there was a summary chart here of
What was the name of that?
Bay State Books.
And you just put them in the textile one, or is that a separate container now?
It's a
Separate
separate container, yeah. The books are in a whole separate container. And it's a chart don't remember if I sent this to you guys, but it talks about the rebates. So, Bay State, what is this? Bay State Textile. Kingston, $5,000. Planet Aid doesn't provide any kind of rebate from Kingston. They collected 43.6 tons. Yeah, Planet Aid. Yep. Bay State Books, 2.6 tons. And the rebate on that to Kingston was $155. But if I didn't send this to you, I will.
Yeah, too. I don't
Okay.
recall, I don't recall seeing it.
Okay.
So will Bay State Books, will they take,
Almost anything.
school books, like academic books? Because at one time they said they wouldn't take them.
Okay. Yeah, they had an information booth at the Central Recycling 25th anniversary event. And they're eager to take any kind of book, any kind of book.
Can we
I
look
had one
into
at-
Planet Aid?
Pardon?
Can we look into Planet Aid? I don't think they have very good politics.
Who, Planet Aid?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them.
I heard bad.
You heard
Yeah, I
bad.
wonder if we want to remove their bin from the transfer station. I know that we looked into it for the library parking lot and we vetoed it because they mostly just take it and sell it in sort of poor communities for too much money. They're not
Oh,
philanthropic.
really? Okay.
Or,
And the
Scout.
CEO just
What they
rakes
call
in the
Planet
money.
Aid?
Uh-huh.
they're yellow or purple. I forget what color they do.
I
but
think they're yellow.
stand out as kind of
Yeah.
bubblegummy.
I think
And they
there's,
don't reimburse. So what's the point of us promoting them?
yeah, I think there's one in the parking lot. Just as you turn into,
Oh, the car dealerships?
yeah, in that,
Yeah. I'm not sure it's saying.
I don't know either. It used to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's one at the transfer station.
There was one.
Is there?
Mall.
Inside, there's a couple of.
It might be nice to try and differentiate those bins, because I know I heard a speech once for the Got Books people where they take those and they run cafes and they help, like high school aged kids who, so they learn to be coffee makers and to set up and run these little bookstores to sell the books at a affordable price. So that job skills are developed for kids that are at risk in high school. But that was a long time ago. So I don't know if they're still doing that, but I just, you've got a lot of choices there. Why would you usually people just put them because there's space to put them there.
All right, yeah. Again, we have to be careful. This is Paul's
Right.
territory. And I know his policy has been that anyone can put a bin there. So, we could certainly do some homework, see what these companies do represent and present it to Paul, but the ultimate decision is obviously Paul's. And it's,
Well, the added incentive for him perhaps to not have them is that, Vanessa, you mentioned that there's no rebate.
right. So the ones
So-
with the rebates would be favored, I think.
Or that we know they're doing charitable good with them. I don't know that we need a rebate from Salvation Army. I think Salvation Army sort of stands for itself and the services they provide to communities.
Okay. Okay.
I worked with a lot of these for the schools,
Mhm.
and we had bins like textiles, Bay State textiles at every school. And the catch was that the PTO got the money from it,
Uh-huh.
and we had got books. And at the end of the year, the schools, like, they clean out books, and there's a ton of books. And unless somebody's there to direct them in the right place, they
Mhm.
just end up in the trash.
Yeah. Well, add that to your
Yeah.
your school, initiative to see if we could redirect those books into recycling.
And it's also, you get a factor that it's tonnage out of our waste stream. So
Exactly.
that
exactly.
even if we don't get a rebate, it's
Right.
worth the effort.
Yeah, because then we're not paying $80
Yeah,
some
well,
dollars.
The
a
rebate is
ton.
the fact that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like the whole reason why the recycling went down the toilet when China put up the green fence and was no longer paying for stuff. And then that no longer made money. And that was the big incentive, you know, making money versus paying to get rid of it. So
Right.
we're kind of starting over, but
Yeah.
at least, you know, the cardboard and paper and things like that are still, and textiles still
Right,
have a
we're
rebate.
getting- But yeah, and unfortunately, we are having to pay to get rid of some of the recyclables. So it's not a total reduction in costs for Paul's operation. Okay, and I think I mentioned to you that South Shore Recycling, we meet about every 5 or 6 weeks. And there's always a presentation by a company that's engaged in some sort of recycling. And we had a meeting in January, and the presenter was from Helpsies. And so she sent out a proposal for towns, giving them her special rate. Again, I need to talk to Paul about what he's, what if anything he's going to do with this. Okay, so like I say, South Shore Recycling Cooperative meets every 5 or 6 weeks. We do have a meeting coming up, and it is available by Zoom.
I think it's like
you can-
March 3 or something, or is it February?
No, it's
221.
yeah, it's February 21st.
Where is it going to be?
Plymouth.
Excuse me?
Plymouth Public Library, I think. But again, it's available via Zoom. I will probably be attending that via Zoom. Yeah, some of the discussion you may find very interesting, some of it not so much. But it's another resource for all of us. And I think the presenters always, you know, they're trying to promote the services that they offer. So it's always good to know what is out there and who's offering what. And like I just said, Helpsy came up with a special rate for South Shore Recycling towns on their services. And before the meeting, she sends out a newsletter that has so much information on recycling. So if you haven't looked at any of those, take a look. They are all on the South Shore Recycling Cooperative website, but she does send them out ahead of time. I've asked her to send them out so people can look through it, and if they have questions, they can ask at the meeting. So she's been sending them out a little earlier. If I am remiss in sending you the agenda and the Zoom link, please remind me. Sorry if I have not sent those out.
I think you're pretty good at sending them on. I'm pretty bad at remembering. It's the truth. And I'm embarrassed to admit this, but a couple of meetings ago, I took the wrong place. It was too late.
Yeah.
By the time I realized what I had done.
Right. And we do move them around. That
Which
was,
is fine, but I got so angry with myself.
yeah.
I'm
When
driving
you-
by at the town
when you-
hall in this other town, and I said, this is where I should have been.
Yeah.
It was
So
too late.
when you put it in your calendar, do you put the location?
Gene,
Okay.
you're talking to the wrong person.
Okay.
I'm trying to, I put an appointment in here and I'm wondering now if I'll be able to come back to it. Forget, I'm not a note taker. I never have been.
Yeah.
And I'll do this very briefly, but when I was working at Boston University, and I was the stage manager at what is now the Huntington Theater, okay? I did make notes, but it was in the blocking on the stage. And I had a grad student work on one of the shows. And we worked together for several weeks, obviously very part-time. And then at one point, he came into my office to get his weekly thing. He said, yeah, I've never seen you take a note. And he said, yet I've never seen you forget anything.
There you go.
And I said, well, it's just because I'm not a note taker. I've never been good at it.
Yeah.
And so I just rely on my memory. But it ain't working
Well, that's
anymore.
it. I don't do that anymore because like you, I found myself in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so I put it all, I live and die by my calendar. And that is a particularly busy day for me, but, and that's why I'll probably do it by Zoom. But I will try and remember to get those out. Ever, do you get those? Do you know?
Yeah, I do get those.
Okay. All right. But the newsletters have so much information in there. And it obviously takes her a good bit of time to pull them together. I also got a call from Fred, who is with the Green Team. It's a company. They're doing, that's what it is. They're doing a recycling event in Plymouth in September. And Lenatra and Muratori are sponsors. And they also do styrofoam events. And they gave me the cost for that. It's pretty expensive. And they handle mattresses, including the avocado mattresses. So I just wanted to let you know, there is this other group called the Green Team. And they're obviously looking for communities to operate in. I can find out more about them.
So is it different than what the state?
This sounds to me like he's out of Holliston. It seemed to me it was like a company, private company, but yeah, I think it's a private company. I don't think it's that.
They're stealing the name.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty catchy name. And I sent you the article on human composting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I want a mushroom soup. It's like a skin soup
Oh,
and it
okay.
has mushroom spores in it.
Okay, and then mushrooms grow. Okay.
And the mushrooms take care of all the toxins in your body.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's an environmentally
So
sustainable
you
way.
become encapsulated by mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that it?
I'm
Interesting.
a little curious about, well, what do they do with you in the meantime until you turn into a mushroom?
It just run away,
Yeah, they just bury you.
the way it used to be.
Yeah, and there are, human composting is currently legal in Washington, Colorado, Oregon, Vermont, California, New York, and Nevada. So there's nowhere around here that it's legal. But there is a bill in Delaware to allow composting. So we'll see where that goes. I'm not aware that there's anything happening here in Massachusetts, but I did send it on to Representative Lenatra saying, should this come up, be interested in knowing, being able to follow it, see what happens with it. I'm sure there's lots of opposition from the undertaking business
But of course,
because it pretty much eliminates their role. Other than they can probably charge to pick up the body and drop it off. But yeah, it eliminates all the other stuff we put in the ground, including all the chemicals they
That's right.
use to preserve bodies and it's just the more natural method of disposing of bodies. So I thought it was interesting. It's a concept that, you know, I would be interested in knowing more about. Didn't know about the mushroom suits.
It looks like a skin suit, like a wetsuit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is the email I got from Peter Neville. He was going to an all-day conference in Framingham today on PFAS. It's being sponsored by the Environmental Business Council. He said, you folks are way ahead of Plymouth, especially in the food waste department. He's also trying to find out who their vendors are in Plymouth. And then he's the one who told me about Save That Stuff.
That stuff is scary.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
very scary.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not familiar with this Environmental Business Council.
And who was the email from? Who's going to it?
Peter Neville, he's the
Okay,
resident from Plymouth that's been to some
Yeah.
of our things.
I
He
didn't
gets
hear
our
the name.
agenda. And so he did put together a table of all the Plymouth trash haulers and the pay-as-you-throw transfer trash options. So it's interesting. Did I send that to you guys?
No.
No,
Okay. I'm gonna have a lot of assignments here.
bless you for doing it.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I want everybody to have access to as much information as possible. So as Paul mentioned, the recycled product procurement policy did go out to all the departments. That's a requirement for us to get an RDP point. And then I'm thinking about all the private trash companies in Kingston. And should we be reminding them about their responsibilities as far as recycling? And it got me thinking about what does the waste ban say here in Massachusetts? And unfortunately, there's just very specific waste bans. Like now they have the textiles and the hazardous waste and a few others, but there's no general requirement in the state that people must recycle. Not like we have here in Kingston, but it's residents. It's nothing to do with businesses, it's just residents must recycle. It's very broad and very short file, very short. Okay, I think we've had about enough today. What do you guys think? We did not get to a budget, but I want you to think about that. What would we do with the money that we currently have? And that amounts to a little over 13,000. We should be hitting our 8,400 for this past year shortly. And then we have 4,700 in the CMAS grant. So like to put that on our next agenda as to, I think we need to lay out a bit of a plan as to what we want to do this next year and also how we would encumber some of the grant money. I did have that discussion with Todd because I know we've heard before that this DEP is looking at communities that have not been spending their RDP grants and considering not awarding full amounts. Todd said we have nothing to worry about. They said we're one of the better spenders. So I just wanted to be sure we were not in anybody's list for reduction because it's our only operating capital. It's the only thing we have. So I'm going to put budgeting and planning on the next agenda. Okay, so give some thought to that. We've tossed around several ideas, including.
Could I get those numbers again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I got the 47 CMAS.
Yep, and it's a little over 13,000 currently in RDP,
Getting another.
and we've got another 8,400 coming. Okay, but keep in mind that Paul may need 8,000 of that for from equipment at the transfer station if it doesn't get approved in the equipment article at town meeting. Keep that in mind. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn?
I have one question. It's like, we have a fair amount of money, and I've done a lot of research on like swap shop buildings and different options. Should I like pull that together, or I don't want to waste my time?
Yeah,
You don't
I-
think it's gonna viable?
I think what we've talked about is perhaps, if you look at,
I'll call you back.
you look at Lowe's
I'll be home.
at some of the larger pre-made sheds, I think that's probably gonna be all we can handle for a while. Especially if, you know, we only have a handful of volunteers, we're only open on the weekends, and, you know, that'll keep our inventory pretty small and manageable. So that's what I'm thinking is, you know, pre-made shed from Lowe's or somewhere similar
Well,
that has windows. It has to have windows.
it's gonna be building of some substance,
Right.
because we don't want things to be so crowded that it's.
We're gonna keep it small, I think. We had way too much to deal with before.
We did, but it was also a very confined space. It was too,
And there was no flow to it.
no, there
You
was
know,
not.
it would make it so much easier to manage if people could flow through it.
You know,
like-
some of the things that you presented in the past, I
You
think.
came in one end and went out the other.
Yeah.
I mean, it was-
Yeah.
Well, there was a place to drop off, and, you know, somebody would be there to greet them and say, well, this goes there, that goes there.
That's where the volunteers.
Yeah,
Some people,
but doing it on a
Want
part-time
page.
basis, I like that, because it's, you know, people who are interested are going to come. And and probably be very receptive to the fact that somebody's there to guide. And also, it makes sense anyway, because then people aren't gonna cause these filthy, stupid things that should be thrown away.
Right, yeah. No, we would definitely curate at the gate as to what goes in, what doesn't.
Well,
Yeah, I'm more concerned about what comes in.
Right.
That it be clean and reusable.
well, they have free software that can be online for volunteer scheduling. So my preference is to get volunteers and to get them to do it, so it's not
Right,
incumbent on us.
Yeah,
It's
we-
like, we don't want to make more work for ourselves.
Oh,
yeah, now we've
But-
got 3 people signed up, but if we're gonna lose them if we don't keep moving along. But as far as cost for one, I think we're gonna keep it probably under 15,000.
Under 15.
Yeah, I mean, I can be overridden, you guys give me an
We'll
argument.
see, you know, let's see what $15,000 would give us.
Well, because I've done so many inquiries, I get emails a lot about sales, you know, product line ending, and they're like good size. And they're not that expensive, and they look pretty easy to construct.
Okay,
It's not like rocket science.
okay. All right, let's take a look at what you got.
Good.
You know, because I think we all agree it was popular. People were still wanting it by what Paul was telling us about people leaving stuff. So I think it's definitely another component that we should add back to the transfer station, but it's just a matter of how much it's gonna cost to set it up, and then if we have adequate volunteers to maintain it. You know, it's the maintenance was our big issue before.
Well, my opinion is that what we want is weight. We want to get bulk out. The trailer was more of a trinket thing. It was a novelty, and I think it was an awesome step to get people interested, to get them to understand the concept, and people seem to really like it. And if we had a bigger building with the right flow through and all that, I think, look how much furniture gets in there,
Yeah.
just gets crushed.
I don't think
And-
we should be accepting furniture.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
think-
it could be a long-term goal. We don't have to start off with that for sure, but we want something that has some flexibility to expand in the future. So if it goes well and we get the volunteers and it's, whatever, we want to get tonnage out of the waste stream.
I agree. I think the other thing that we talked about earlier today might just be appropriate for this, and that would be a list of where things could go that we couldn't accept.
Yes.
Saying, so if somebody comes
Yeah.
in with a big piece.
I think the
of-
restore would take furniture if people knew
Yeah, they
that.
do.
What, but I've driven out there, like I said, and they'll go, no, 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 and that is really frustrating. So I think to
Mhm.
really have a list. The other thing I thought of is to have a bulletin board in there where people can say, and I have a dining room set, or I have this, put a
Mhm.
date on it, and in 2 weeks we tear it off, or whoever takes it, because they're gonna go pick it up. But I just think, I don't want to go to Facebook. I mean, lots of people do, but if I'm in the swap shop and I'm looking, it's a great place to look to see if there's, some other item that couldn't be there that someone says, yeah, come and pick it up. I don't want it.
Right?
Well, we could do something like, have you guys heard of Free Cycle?
Yeah.
If you have something you want to
Right.
get rid of, you put it on Free Cycle and someone could come and pick it up. I know some people have issues of going to a stranger's house or whatever, but we could promote the recycling part of it. I mean, we could even have like a little kiosk in there, like someone could go up to the board and put, I have a, bedroom set or a dining room set I
I
want to
think
get
that's what
rid of.
she's saying.
Yeah. So we could help facilitate that. We may not take the material,
Tell
but
them where they
we can
go.
help. And then they'd
Yeah.
have a meeting spot to exchange
Mhm.
that's safe and monitored.
Yeah,
So, but-
except if it's big furniture, you may not be able to lug it. Okay, good ideas. All right, are we ready?
Make a
Please.
motion to adjourn.
What
Is there
time is it
something-
there?
Pardon?
What time is it there?
It is 11:10.
Okay, thank you. And Jean, you made that motion?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, Vanessa,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay, 4-0. Excellent, guys. Sorry it was such a long meeting.
Good meeting. Thank you.
Gene, how long are you
Bye.
gonna be on the?
Bye, Vanessa. Have a safe journey there.
Yeah, stay